share all the nuggets that I have. I
Great.
can't wait to.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Okay, so Jane, let's just get right into it. I mean, like, thank you everyone for joining. Just to me, I see you. Enoch, my brother is here, and say thank you for joining. So let's just get right into it. So because we want people to stay, we're talking about how to heal and thrive after a toxic relationship. So before you actually learn how to heal and thrive, you have to actually understand how to identify a toxic relationship. So based off your experience, how can you identify a toxic relationship?
Okay, so one of the things to note when you need to know when a relationship is toxic is number one, lack of communication. So, take for instance, you're with somebody who doesn't like to communicate. By communication, I mean doesn't like to reach out, likes to love bomb you there and there, and then gives you one, they call it breadcrumbs. It just gives you like small stuffs like that. So,
Yes.
if this person's communication is not consistent, if this person's communication is not straightforward, like if it's not something that is done every day, you're not seeing the effort he's putting in, then I mean that relationship is already toxic from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, we have emotional and physical abuse. I'm sure you heard of the story that happened, was it 2 days ago or 3 days
Mm-hmm.
ago, about a
Yeah, the guy beats the woman and she still came to read. Yeah.
So I'm sure it was something that had been going on background and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But maybe she's just staying there and saying, "Oh, I'm refusing to go. Maybe because of my children, because I want
Yeah.
to be with my husband, or
Mm-hmm.
because of love, whatever it is." And now here is look at where she is now. So once you cite any form of emotional,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean somebody is always, trying to make you feel very bad. Okay, so I will tell a story of mine. Okay. Um
Share the nuggets. Tell us. We want to hear the gist. We are here for the gist.
Thank you. Anyway, few years ago, there was somebody I was actually seeing, and I just started out in the tech space, and I got a promotion. I was really happy, excited about it because I know I worked hard for it. I think that promotion was less than a year that I stepped into the firm, and this person, I shared it with him, and after a while, he said I didn't deserve the promotion. Like
What?
I didn't deserve it. That's what he said to me. That you know, if it was to be a very very big firm, that I won't even smell it and stuff like that. And I was like wondering, like, why would somebody say that to their significant other or somebody they feel like they are seeing or dating, instead of it to like, oh babe, let's celebrate this. This is a big news. You're trying to pull me down. So that even really affected my self-worth. I won't lie. It affected, oh, did I really deserve this?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and throughout the period of the relationship, I was always self
In
getting,
doubt.
you know,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So, am I really what? Can I even do this? Is this something I want to do? So I took it that, it took a while to heal from that. But I
Mm-hmm.
think at a place whereby I don't really care and I work out to get whatever I want. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
really care whether, you approve of me or
Or
not.
not. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm at that space right now.
Yeah.
So there's another one, and that is manipulation and gaslighting. Some people have like
Girl. Some people have PhD in that.
some people have
And it's so subtle. Like it's so subtle. Because like when you're dating a narcissist, it's easier to spot. But when you're dating someone who's an avoidance, you can't really, really see it. And you know the mind game they play on you, they'll say you're the one trying to manipulate them.
you get. So like that, if you have people who always, at least it goes both genders, not just
Yes. Not just yeah.
one person,
Yeah.
not
Not
just
just women. Mm-hmm. Not just men.
so it plays
Yeah.
across both genders. And if you see somebody like that, please by all means run away. They'll always make you feel less of yourself, always make you feel like you are mad or something, always make you feel like they are the victims,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, so they twist it, they turn it, it's something affecting you. You tell them, they find a way to twist it so that it falls on them, and they make themselves the victim, and then you start to wonder, excuse me, what's going on? I'm the one that is affected here. Why are you making it all about you?
Exactly.
And once you see that particular character, please, by all means, run away. Carry your bag, run. And then, if you also have somebody who has a pattern of always breaking loyalty, by breaking trust and loyalty, I mean, I would always refer to the full blown one, the cheating part. If you have somebody who is always cheating on you,
Mm-hmm.
please, by all means, run away. So for me, cheating is a deal breaker. I can't take it. I don't know what anybody says, but I honestly cannot take it. So if you cheat on me, I leave you. Because, I mean, I don't want anybody bringing some sort of disease
And
and just some
negative, evil energy. Yeah.
manner of nonsense. Because I've heard, oh, this one actually happened real life, happened to a family friend of mine. So she's late now, God bless her soul. So she had this wandering husband that was always going everywhere, every sleeping with everybody on skirts. And then this was like 15 years ago. And then HIV was not really a thing. There was
And
for it yet. So it was like he got HIV from someone and gave it to her. This one was just always minding her business, doing her thing. And she didn't know what was wrong with her. She was always falling sick and all of that. She didn't know until somebody advised her to go check. And then before then, it has already gone into like full blown AIDS. And that's how we lost her. So
oh my God.
as little as I was, you can imagine my age at that 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
As little as I was, I made a promise to myself that I will never, ever, once you cheat on me,
That's
I carry
the end.
I will carry my bag and my luggages and shift. Because you can't endanger my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one person
I,
very, very peculiar about my health. And I won't want anything. I'm trying my best. I'm exercising. I'm eating right. I'm living on the right diet. I'm doing a lot of things to my body to ensure that it's fit and all. And you out of nowhere,
you
you
now
now.
want to, I mean, I always say that cheating is like a personality thing, like it's discipline. It has nothing to do with your partner, or if your partner is not giving you attention or anything. Mostly has to do with you as a person, your discipline as a person. And I like all the points that you've mentioned about, toxic relationships, identify toxic relationships. And I want to reiterate the love bombing part, because a lot of people miss that part. And it's very, like, it's common, especially like, when a guy meets you and he's giving you all the attention, he's doing everything, and then he's dropping things like, oh, I want to marry you, I want to do this, I want to do. I was listening to TikTok the other day, and one of the influencers I follow, she's very like popular, and she comes to talk about her dating experiences. And she was talking about this guy that she met. He would always take her out, do everything, but then he was dropping like subtle "I want to marry you" signs.
Mhm.
And then he didn't want to take her on dates anymore, wanted her to be coming to his house, took her to church. Those were already signs of, love bombing.
Yeah,
Eventually he wasn't able to be consistent. So also consistency as well. If somebody genuinely likes you, they will be consistent.
exactly.
Communication is also a big deal when it comes to, and then the most important one is boundaries. As a person, you should have boundaries. So those are the things that protect you, because I mean, you can't really, you sometimes you don't really know when you just like start giving someone attention and you start catching feelings for the person. But when you have strong boundaries and those boundaries are crossed, then you can draw the line. It's very, very important as a person. So I want to say, people are already joining, and if you're enjoying the conversation, please drop a comment in the comment section. They love something, and please feel free to ask questions. We want this session to be very interactive. Jane and I, we came ready for you guys. We want this session to be very, very interactive. So I want to ask you, so what's the psychological or emotional impact of the toxic relationship? What does it do to Jane? Can you hear me? Jane, I can't hear you.
Um,
Ah,
I
okay,
want
great.
you to say,
Okay, yes, I was saying that what's I want to ask, what's the psychological and emotional impact of a toxic relationship? Like, I know, for example, for me, when I was in a toxic relationship, after the relationship ended, that's why I always say this, that if I'm not your spec, I'm not going to date
yeah,
you. Like, if I'm not your full-on spec, I'm not going to date you, because I dated someone who was into women that had breasts. And so whenever we would go out, we just see a lady with boobs. I'm like, oh my God, my spec in my presence. That kind of affected my self-esteem.
yeah,
Like, I'm not even, no cap. For
yeah,
a very long time, every time I saw women with boobs, I always thought they were better than me.
yeah.
So what are some of the impacts that toxic relationships have on you?
Okay, so one of the impacts that would have on you, toxic relationship usually have on people is first of all, you lose every self worth. You lose, you don't have any self esteem, right? It takes a toll on your self esteem as a human
Yeah,
being.
yeah.
To guess yourself, when you're doing things that no one else is doing, but you start to look at it like, oh, this person does not, appreciate whatever I do for them. So you start to look within yourself and start to lose whatever value you have. And like I had said before, I had mentioned, I gave an example of somebody
Yeah.
said, I don't deserve my promotion. And so it
Mm-hmm.
made me go into like a very deep night. Like I started, walking on the ground, everything I would have to go through somebody, to do it. And then I could be the brain behind something, but I wouldn't come forward and
Hmm.
say I am the brain
The brain behind it.
want
Wow.
somebody to take the glory that it affected me a whole lot, and I won't lie, right? So that's one of the signs. Secondly, we have anxiety and chronic stress. So anxiety are always very anxious. Ah, God, what if he says this? I don't want to fight with him. I don't see. The thing is that quarrels and fights, they are okay. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there was a time when, I always had this, I don't want to quarrel with this person. I do not even have the strength for this. Quarrel with them is like, it sucks
You're
with every
walking on
insect.
eggshells because
Mm,
you can just say anything that will
that,
just trigger them. You can't even express
you
yourself.
can't express yourself because, they always, try to make it all about them, always trying to make them feel like they're big.
And that's a major red flag when you're in a relationship and you can't freely express yourself. You're walking around the eggshell. You can't say, "Oh, you did this," without the person turning the table around.
Exactly.
Girl, what are you doing there?
Not even listening to you or
Mm-hmm.
trying to get side of the
Mm-hmm.
story. The person just
Mm-hmm.
you to wants you to make it. They make it all about them. Actually,
Yeah.
they paint for them. That's a guy slider. That's a manipulator. Run away from them, please. And thirdly, we have depression. Some people actually, it sends them after the chronic stress, sense of worth, self of loss of self worth, and then it comes to depression. Depression, you already know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Usually signs of that as well. Most people don't show signs. They are usually very happy, but they're dying inside of them, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
see cases like this. But I would advise you, if you're depressed over a relationship, by all means, please talk to your friends, talk to family members, talk to somebody you feel like you can open up to, and tell the person what you're going through, please. So don't just keep it in, all locked in, and anybody that makes you go through that stage that does not deserve to be in your life. Throw the person away. Inside the doors.
Yeah. Very
Don't
true.
don't even stress trying to work it out. If it's making you depressed, that relationship is depressing you or making you depressed, please by all means drop it. Don't even try to pursue. Just try to amend whatever it is. Just let go.
So I want to ask you, like, why do you think that people stay in toxic relationship? Because I'm going to use myself for an example.
Mm-hmm.
When the relationship I stayed in, that actually was the what encouraged me to start writing. I stayed in that relationship for 4 years, and it was really toxic. Like, I'm saying toxic. Like, he was cheating on me back to back. He would cheat on me. I would still go and beg him. Like, he would cheat on me. He would turn the table around. I've knelt down to beg, man, Jane. Jane, I knelt down. I left. I schooled in Uniben. Yeah, I left school. I was reading, and then this guy, like, he would be so obvious about it. Like, he would he will put their pictures on his stories, and if I complain, he will say I do too much, I'm too jealous, they are just his friends, they're just. I remember one time I went to a custody at night because I was very dangerous, like cultists everywhere, and that his street is very quiet because he wasn't talking to me. I could not sleep, I could not read, I was with my friends. I left, I went to go and beg him, I knelt down outside, I was
Ah,
begging him for cheating on me. The second time, I saw a picture of a girl that he had been claiming was his close friend. With I saw him and her. They were hugging on his bed, and she was half naked. She was wearing his shirt, and he said nothing happened. He swore nothing happened. This one, that one. So I now went to my auntie's place, and then I was talking to one of our. She's a family friend and acquaintance. And she was like, you know that, and it's very important that you're very mindful of people you receive advice from, because
exactly.
in that moment she was projecting her own brokenness to me, because she was telling me that just forgive him, men cheat, just talk to him, be patient, he cares about you, even though he cheated, you are still the one he cares for. At the end of the day, I now started calling
Ah,
him. So so why do you think that people actually stay in toxic? I know for me, I'm going to share why I stayed, but just let me know why you think people actually stay in toxic relationships.
I, so I would, okay, I think for me, right, why people stay is you you I don't know how to put this, but there's something about having some sort of, if you come from a family that
Mm-hmm.
you know let's take for instance, in your family there wasn't so much attention given to you, or there wasn't any sort of love, um you go out there trying to look for somebody who would fill that void for you. So it starts from the home. So if you find somebody who is um, able to just give you a little piece of that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you would just feel like, oh my God, this person is my alpha and omega, so I'm going to
Yeah.
stay, you
Yeah.
know, and all of that. And I think that is something that is wrong as well. As much as our family unit sometimes can also be a major factor in how
Mm-hmm.
actually relate or find love outside, I also think that we also need to find out by ourselves and do the work within ourselves. Right? There's so many brokenness in homes, right? There's so many what word would I use? There's so many um in fact a lot of things.
Emptiness.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Mm.
in homes right now. And I actually made myself a promise to my unborn kids that they will grow up in a place or in a home where they will
There's
see love.
love. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
somebody else tries to do all of that outside,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they're not freaks. They're
Mm-hmm.
not wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
mom and my dad, they love me. So I don't think I would want any of that from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. Take okay, father daughter date, son mother date,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
buy
Create
flowers,
examples for them. Mm-hmm.
try to try to do things for them so that when they see those type of things happen, they'll know that
Don't get
ah,
carried away.
exactly. They don't get carried away. Another thing is lack of self-esteem. Lack of self-esteem. You maybe feel insecure about yourself in some ways, which I know that there are so many. It's not easy. Let's not lie.
Yeah.
There are so many things me self. Then I wanted to change my height. It was possible, self. There was to change. I would, because I'm like 5'2", I think.
Yeah.
So I'm very short. Not too short, but
Ah,
at least.
girl, you're 5'2", I'm 4'9". What do you mean you're short? Jesus. Please, please, please. You are beautiful the way you are there.
So, but I didn't really see it that way then. I was very insecure about my height. I had friends that were, of like very
Tola. Mm-hmm.
tall, were very
Mm-hmm.
were taller
Mm-hmm.
than me. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
wanted, that height. And God knows why I did it, because nobody will pass road. That's the truth. Nobody, I
Yeah.
would say to anybody if I had that kind of height.
Mm-hmm.
But I think over time I learned to, I learned to
Just
accept myself.
accept and love yourself.
I accept
Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
the way I am.
Yeah.
So
And
if
yeah.
you are a guy and you walk up to me and you see my height and you're telling me to wear heels 247, I'm so sorry. I don't even like heels. I don't like it.
Mhm.
I don't. I'm not a heels person. Probably just a slippers or sandals or sneakers person.
Mhm.
If you see my height and you're telling me to wear heels or make me feel
Mhm.
uncomfortable in that,
Mhm.
no, I'm not going
Mhm.
to. I'm not going to even start the relationship or even stalking stage. Then once I figure out that I'm not the person. So lack of self-esteem is one.
Yes. Mhm.
Sorry, this is the second one.
Yes.
Then the third one is another thing is sometimes wrong association is that I don't like
Hmm.
the wrong friends,
Yes.
the wrong
Yes, the wrong friends, the wrong actors. Like I explained in my own, like that lady was advising me, to stay, despite the fact that I told her everything and I was ready to leave. But she just convinced me that, you have to stay with the man. Do you get what I mean?
exactly. So when you have this type of people
Mm-hmm.
around you, they
Mm-hmm.
always make you feel like, oh, there's nothing bad in this. You just
Mm.
everybody's doing it.
Mm.
So I mean, just do it. Or everybody's accepting cheating. Why don't you?
Mm-hmm. Why
It's
don't you?
not a
It's normal. It's not a big deal.
not a
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Make it
Mm-hmm.
seem like, oh, like it's okay. You could just go with it. Now I've had some of that in the past as well. Or people that would always say, no, this guy is this one. But in
Mm.
your own mind, you see
Yes, you can see the red
the
flags. You can see it.
the signs are everywhere, like you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you will take advice from those people and then
Mm-hmm.
end up in trouble. So I think these are the things from my own
That,
perspective.
yeah. Yeah, I think those are good points, and I think I want to drive home the important that you should be mindful of the kind of friends you keep. As a woman, as a person that is healing, you cannot heal and keep very toxic friends or people who lack self-esteem or who can't tell you the truth. So I want to say thank you to everyone that has joined and has been joining. I can see the comment section. People are commenting. Thank you very much for your comments. Keep the comments coming. Drop your feedback, drop your comments, drop your questions, and we'll definitely answer. Jane, are you there? I think your network is buffering. Guys, if you can see me, just drop like an emoji or something because I think network is buffering and Jane is kind of frozen.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, sorry,
She's back.
I'm
Okay,
back.
great. Okay, so I was going to explain why I stayed. I think for me it was the validation that I got from that relationship.
Exactly.
So it had to do with lack of self-esteem. So, and there's this thing called limerence, like because I study a lot of psychology, and
Oh,
limerence is like you're in a constant state of fantasy. So I mentioned that there are some guys that will meet you and will love bomb you.
mm-hmm,
They will do everything in that relationship. That guy love bombed me. Like he was everything. Like he did everything I
mm-hmm,
wanted. He was so romantic, cook for me, he did everything at the beginning. So I was stuck in that beginning.
yeah,
Even when he changed, when the red flags were there, I was still in that constant state of limerence where I was just always like, okay, yeah, it was romantic. So it felt like I kept fighting to find that romance again.
yeah,
Meanwhile, I wasn't really
yeah,
seeing the truth. And then validation. As a woman, if you do not validate yourself, if you do not love yourself, men, or not, let me not just because there are guys on this call, as a person, if you do not validate yourself and if you do not love yourself enough to know that you're enough, people will take advantage of it. They will use it. You'll use that validation as a carrot. They will
yeah.
dangle it.
I
Even
agree.
even aside relationships, even with friendships, with people generally, when they see that you are seeking validation, even at work, when your
Yeah,
bosses see that you are seeking validation, they will dangle it like a carrot. They'll take it. It's reward. So if you don't play ball, no validation for you. If you play ball, validation for you. And then you see yourself constantly searching for that validation, constantly chasing.
exactly.
So that was something I realized about myself, that I'm someone who sought validation. I'm very agreeable. I'm someone who's constantly sought validation. And people were able to manipulate me easily. It doesn't matter if it was a friendship relationship or a romantic relationship. They
Yeah,
saw it and they were able to easily manipulate me to the point that sometimes he won't call me for like 2 days. I'll be panicking. And then on the third day, when I now say, you know what, me too, I will do my own back, I will not call you. You just ring me. Me too, stupid me. First call I will pick. We'll go. It was like, bread. You know that thing you say bread crumbing. First call I will pick. I'll be happy. I'll say, oh my God, you call me. Sometimes he will just ghost me like that, and then he will come back again, and I'll be so happy. And during that period of ghosting, my head, it will be as if, oh God, my entire world has fallen down. And then there was something I read, and it says that people get emotional validation or emotional, I don't know how to put it, but from their partners. So for example, when your mood is easily affected by your partner's mood, that's a very wrong state to be in as a person.
Yeah.
You have to be so grounded that even if the person is not feeling it or anything, yes, I empathize with you, but it's not going to ruin my entire day.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've talked a lot about, toxic relationships. So how do you detach from a toxic relationship? Because my own. It took me years, girl. After 4 years, I've been single for almost 10 years.
Are you serious?
Girl, like at first I went through different phases. I'm not gonna lie. At first I thought I was ready. I want to get married. I had my goals and everything. But I was so toxic after that relationship because there was somebody I met that things could have worked out. But I was so toxic. I had anxiety. I was just doing all sorts.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was just like, I'm gonna take a break. So I have to be healing through all the anxiety and everything. So how do you think that people can now? It's faster for me. If you mess up, you mess up. I'm done.
You
On to the
go
next
right.
one. I'm not going to waste my thesis and be waiting for anybody to behave themselves. So how do you think that people can detach from toxic relationships?
Okay, so for to be honest, reality, let's not lie about this, is very, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very, very difficult to detach from a relationship, especially one that you've invested your time,
Mm-hmm.
thought, resources into it. It's gonna be very hard to let go. Say you've been with somebody for 7 years and you've been in that's the only person that you have known in your life, or the only person you have been with, is literally very
Mm-hmm.
hard. But I think you need to acknowledge by yourself, within yourself, that that person is toxic for you.
Mm,
You need to first of all acknowledge that fact first,
true. Because the person might come back, or even if you break up, the person might come and you accept the
and you
person again.
accept the person again. You need to embrace it and tell yourself that this person is toxic for me. I need to have some level of peace in my life.
Ha! Sanity.
Exactly. So once you have acceptance is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you need to accept. Just as we've been talking about, my height and all, I
Mm-hmm.
had to accept myself for who I am. And then nothing moves me again. Even if anybody comes to me and say you're not that tall, I say, okay, no, I'm aware. It's and I don't take it like an insult or something. I just let the person be and go, you know. And but this one, you need to acceptance is one thing you need to do. Once you've been able to accept the fact that this person is harmful, this person is not good for me, then you have won. At least accepting it is one thing. Many people don't accept it
Accept
because
exactly.
after
You still, even after the breakup, yes, you still be fantasizing that the person will come back again.
the
You gonna be reading how to get my ex back. Don't watch those videos, though. Don't get your ex back, please. There, leave it in the ex. Yesterday, ex. Okay.
so another one is set boundaries. We talked about boundaries earlier. You said something about boundaries. Set boundaries. I'm not going to, no matter how much I love this person, I'm not going to ever have anything to do with them again. By this time, you block the person if need be. You stop responding to their calls. You need to block them
Mm-hmm.
on social media
Love them
platforms.
from a distance.
Exactly. Stop. Don't do anything. Don't even have any means of communication because it can be very tempting, right?
Yes.
So, for instance, I had a relationship whereby I was always going back to this person.
Ah.
Despite the fact that was very, very toxic, you know. But I kept going back. I kept going back.
That
But
was
one
me.
day I said,
Me too. I went back until
I
one girl called me and said, "Hello, I'm pregnant for my boyfriend. Leave me alone." I say, "Hey, I thought I was the
even
one."
though with the
That
pregnancy, they'll
incident
still back.
for me to just stay away, because I kept going back, and until they started calling me that, I'm like, okay, all right.
So even with the whole eye blocking, even with the okay, no, I had no blocking that time. I was always going back. He will call me, he'll say sweet thing, and we go back,
Ah.
we come back. What I don't myself down. I said I'm tired. What is this? There was no future, there was no
Mhm.
direction.
Mhm. Mhm.
I was constantly anxious. I was always sick, that kind of thing. And I was like, nah, I can't continue like this. I
Mhm.
had to talk by myself
Mhm.
that this person, no, say
No,
no
this
to
person was.
it. I need
Yeah.
to stop this. So I made that decision to block him everywhere on all my social media platforms, blocked his number, deleted every his contact, no constant. I
No
don't want to see
exactly.
it.
Go no contact.
Oh, just stay on your own. You know, that's one thing about setting boundaries that I like. So that's number two. Then number three is you detach yourself from every expectation that the person will change.
Mm. They don't change.
They
They don't
don't
change.
change. They come
It's
back.
going to be the
It's
same.
always
It's not
going to
going
be
to change.
going to change. So don't even stress it. Don't even bother yourself. Just remove that expectation. I think as girls, we always have these fantasies in our head because,
Yes.
like in secondary school, I think I started reading novels
Yeah.
from primary school. I think I said primary four or so, up until SS3, right? And these novels, I was always reading Harley Quinn. What are their names again? Seth. Harley Quinn was
Mills
my
and bones.
you know,
So we're attached to that romance.
romance novels, like those were my in thing then. I would not do anything. I would just be watching romance. I would just be reading romance novel from now to tomorrow. And those things kind of give you this expectation that life is always very sweet. Love is always very,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in
You
nobody
know,
writes to
yes, silhouettes. I mean, what they call it,
anyway.
Mills and bones. Exactly. They don't give you the very live version of
Part of
love.
they just make you, and I think that was what actually made my whole relationship life feel like Omo, I'm looking for this thing, I'm not getting it. Where's that fairy tale that I was always reading about? You see these ones that would, inside the novel, they'll do this, they'll do that, he would take them,
Grand
you
gestures. They
know
call them grand gestures, and some of us are very in love with grand gestures. So yeah.
it kind of puts like expectation in your head that you always want, this type of thing, flowers every day, waking up to breakfast in bed, trying to fly out everywhere. That kind of thing. They put these expectations in your head, and you are like, when you now come out to reality, and you notice that, excuse me, this is not the way I saw it, or I read
Mhm.
it. You start to accept, you start to adjust.
Mhm.
So, um, one of the I think detaching yourself from that expectation that
Mhm.
they will change,
Mhm.
because
And I yeah.
a manipulator,
And I think that
a manipulator.
yeah. And I think people need to understand the difference between attention and love.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that someone keeps coming back is not because they love you, it's because they enjoy the attention they get from you. So,
Exactly.
and a lot of people who manipulate and gaslight and, do a lot of toxic things are people
Mm-hmm.
who feel insecure in themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
that attention that they get from you, they love it so much. So the moment you starve them of that attention, they
Mm-hmm.
come back, they fill their tank up, and then they go again. So you're constantly stuck. You're constantly in that state of, we're not moving forward, we're not going backward, we're just here. He doesn't love you. They're not coming back because they love you.
They
They're
don't.
coming back because of the way you make them feel in that moment. So I think it's very important to know, and that's one of the easiest ways to detach. When you can identify that this person doesn't, because if someone loves you, they will stay with you. First of all, if someone loves you. They would try to love you despite your flaws and everything. They'll try to work it out. So if
Mhm.
you guys did not work out because there's a lot of toxicity, the person did not do this, or even you yourself can be toxic, then
Mhm.
it's not love, it's attention.
Exactly. I agree. I agree. I agree.
Mm.
And also, one of the things that helped me come out of that was also focusing on self-care.
Yes.
I wasn't a skincare girly then, but then I started to take skincare,
Very
a bit
seriously.
more seriously. And then I started going to the gym. The gym helped me. Let me not lie.
You were
Gym
the
helped.
one that gingered me to start going to the gym. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
2025, we go to the gym and we stay healthy. We stay
gym got
healthy.
no lie. The
Yeah.
gym was like my healthy, my safe space. So anytime I had something I needed to get off my mind, I would go to the gym. By the time I lift like 100 kg or 50 kg,
Yeah.
I'm tired. My whole body is like weak, and then I'm back again the next day and the next. So it was like something that really helped me. I focused more on career growth as well.
Yeah.
That was the
Just
period.
basically focus on
People
yourself.
forget
Shift the
just
attention. People are not as important as we make them feel.
yourself, just
Mm-hmm.
go out on dates, enjoy yourself by yourself. I know I used to take myself out on dates. Just enjoy the space, enjoy the quietness and everything. You know, just focus on yourself. Career growth. Look at those things that you feel like you want to do, and then work towards it. That's time for you to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Promotion, get the money in the bank, start that investment, start that business, a lot of things. So you can do so much and more. So don't limit yourself to just one because one
One exactly.
is
Very
one
true. I
mad.
yes.
So
I, I totally agree. I totally agree. Thank you everyone for joining. I've been seeing a lot of comments. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for the people who are just joining. We're talking about how to heal and thrive after a toxic relationship. I'm sorry we're just focusing on women because guys are here as well, but the same applies for guys as
uh,
well. And also, if you've not gotten the book How to Be Single, please go ahead and buy it. You can follow the How to Be Single page and you can get the link in my bio. The physical copy is 7,000 and the ebook is 5,000. So yes, Jane, let's talk about something that has been bugging my mind.
mhm,
How do you overcome the guilt that comes after a cycle of manipulation? So I'll give you an example.
mhm.
There's after you there's the breakup happens. There's the I should have known. Why did I stay? You go through different phases of anger, of regrets, of rejection, of
Mhm.
okay, this is what
Yeah.
I should have. You now start thinking about the things that you did that were so stupid. Like me that knelt down was begging man that cheated on me. Every time I think about it, I used to be very angry with myself, like, how did you do that? I entered Eco Studio at night around 10 o'clock. I went to kneel down outside and I was begging him to take me. I didn't even do anything to warrant the begging. Like he was the one that cheated. So like there were so many things. Like I was just thinking in my mind that Karen, you're just very stupid. Like what was wrong with you? So and I dealt with the guilt as well. The guilt first of all from the rejection, then the guilt when you're thinking about all the things that why did I stay this long? Sometimes you might be in a toxic cycle for a very long time, like the guy you mentioned that you kept going back and going back. I'm sure there was a level of guilt and annoyance with yourself, like why do I keep going back? Why do I keep going back? Why do I keep doing this to myself? So how do you recognize that guilt and break yourself free from it?
Okay, so it's always easy to, like, for instance, if you were in toxic relationship and there's a level of always beating yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
You always beat yourself up all the time and say things like you're mad, you're stupid, and stuff like that. So I would say that you should be gentle with yourself. Like, forgive yourself. Like, that is it. Just forgive yourself. It's okay for you to mess up, it's okay for you to make mistakes, but have compassion. Just the same way you forgive other people,
Mm-hmm.
forgive yourself. So you make mistake, you realize those mistakes, and you make an effort not to do them again, and that's okay. Have self compassion. to come out of that grave, you have to forgive yourself. It's not easy, oh, but forgiving yourself,
Yeah,
me
yeah,
too.
yeah. And forgiveness is a continuous thing. You
Exactly.
forgive yourself over and over and over again, and you be kind to yourself. And also forgiving the other person as well, because resentment can keep you in a circle. There
Yeah.
was something I was reading, and the guy was talking about our center of attention. Different things can be our center of attention. Sometimes your hatred for somebody can be your center of attention, and can be everything that's that controls the decisions that you make. So for example, because I hated him so much, it controlled the kind of decision I made when it comes to time. I said my spec even changed
Mm-hmm.
because he was like my spec. My spec changed completely. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to be with somebody like this because I just didn't want to be around such a person. So it's very important. And prayer helps me because I started praying for God to help me to forgive and let go of the resentment. And then also identifying your emotion. So sometimes when I would think about something and I'm feeling sad about the relationship, I try to identify it. Okay, what am I feeling? Am I feeling regret? Okay, regret. What do I regret? Okay, why do I feel regret? Okay, then forgive yourself. So it's very important to identify the emotion and try as much as possible to think about something else. That's one way I do it. Like instead of ruminate, sometimes sometimes we are still in a relationship with our
Mm-hmm.
ex. Those are our toxic ex. You find yourself that you are still in a relationship because in your head, every day you are thinking about the person, you are pondering on the person, you are thinking about what the person did, what the person did not do. So try to replace all those thoughts with
Yeah.
something else, with something positive, with who you're becoming.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jane. This session has been very, very insightful. Guys, if you have questions, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. Thank you all for joining. I'm seeing my girlies. I don't want to mention this so I will not be biased, but I'm seeing my guys here. So I'm very excited about this session, Jane. One of the things I admire about you is that you're very big on self-care. I think I followed your journey, like everything you said, going on dates, traveling. I'm like, Jean, Queen of Pampa, everything. Like I'm like, Jane, show us the way. Oh. So share tips on rediscovering your joy and getting personal fulfillment. What are like practical tips? If I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed, I just got out of a toxic relationship, I want to heal. What are practical steps on how I can rediscover my joy and heal from toxic and get personal fulfillment?
So I would say one of the things um for discovering your joy is you need to spend time with yourself. Most people don't like spending time by themselves at all. So by spending time, I mean you alone, not with your friends, not with anybody, not with your family. Like you alone, just go out by yourself and stay by yourself and have time alone. I remember, I remember when I was going through like I think a heartbreak or something. Sha.
Yeah.
That one too was very toxic as well. You know, I would go to a okay, so there's this place where you can see through Third Mainland Bridge from my
Mm-hmm.
area. And
Mm-hmm.
I would just go and sit there and just look at the bridge. In fact, I'll just look at the water, the ocean itself. So the waves, they were just all very refreshing. I'll just sit down there and just start journaling. I I had like this whole book where I journal everything and how I was feeling and how this was having a toll on me, but I just knew it was for the best, that kind of thing. So go out alone, experience life for yourself, not just with somebody. Try it alone. Go on to dates. You don't have to be with somebody. As they pay you,
Mm-hmm.
carry yourself, come on, go one side, go chop. You can't be working all the time trying to round the clock, and then you don't even have time to enjoy yourself. So take yourself out. If there's something you've not tried out before, try it. Like I usually have this bucket list of things I have not done in my life before, so I write them down.
Please
And
add me to your bucket list, Jane. We are traveling this year. I'm just putting my shots little by little. Okay.
So the first trip I've ever taken outside of Nigeria was as a result of all of this. In fact, I was heartbroken at that point. Or coming, yeah, I had a rough time as at that time. So I just said, why don't I do something I've not done before? Like my passport it has been in my bag for a very, very long time. I mean, this is now time to dust it and just, you know, go out and see the world for myself. And it changed my perspective. I won't lie. I came back more energized, more happy to see what's going to be. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I was very happy about the outcome. I was like, oh, I want to go next. Where do I go next? So it was this ginger, and all of that. So it changed my perspective on life in general and the way I see it. So I mean, if you have the money, please travel, enjoy yourself, travel.
Yeah,
Then I would feel is you need to focus on gratitude as well. I
true.
do journal where I write every day what I'm grateful for, grateful for life, grateful for whatever it is you're grateful for. Just take it down, write it down every day. Just take a note, mental note. This is what I'm grateful for every day.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the week, go back to read everything. At the end of the week, go back and read all the things you wrote for the week. So it just gives you a fresh perspective to see life.
Mm-hmm.
So when you
Yeah.
wake up with gratitude, right? You're always looking forward. You're always appreciating the little things you have,
Mm-hmm.
more good things to come.
Calm. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think there's also a place for accountability as well for yourself, because a lot of us stay in victim mode, and that's why you mentioned something about another toxic relationship,
yeah.
because sometimes we stay in victim mode, we end up repeating the same cycle over and over
Again,
again. So accountability. Okay,
yeah,
what did I do? What did I not see in the previous relationship? What did I miss? What should I have done better? So, and this part where you mentioned spending time with yourself. In those
mhm,
moments when you spend time with yourself, because a lot of people are pleasure
yeah,
addicts. You can't stay alone. You want to go out all the time. You are in this person's house. You are in one place. So people will just be. One of my friends was telling me about how one of his colleague used to just come to his house every time. One time he just stopped allowing the guy come, like every time. Some people are just pleasure addicts. They want to be around people all the
all the
time. So taking accountability is very important. What role did I play? Did I play? Do you know that even people pleasing is toxic?
yeah,
It's a way of manipulation to get what you want. Being
exactly.
agreeable sometimes can be toxic. Not
Yeah,
being able to, even if you are with the right person, there are certain things about yourself that if you do not heal and you do not
yeah,
change, you would also make very terrible mistakes with the right person.
yeah.
Sometimes God withholds our partners from us because we need to work on ourselves, because some of us ourselves gone, we are the problem. Do you get? We are the problem. So it's good
Uh,
to take accountability and not live in victim mode and say, hey, it broke my heart, what happened, this one happened. Be accountable for your actions.
So, like you said, be accountable for your actions. I actually did that at some point. I had to give dating a very long break. I wasn't even just interested at all. I just wanted to spend time with myself. Then I started to discover some of the things that I felt like, oh, this is what I did wrong. This is what I need to do to be better. So I started putting these things in place. Okay, what do I do? This is how do I come out of this? How do I, all of those things, I had to put them in place. I started working on myself as well. So you can also be the toxic person too, as well,
Yes.
but you can also be the toxic person. So what
Mhm.
be a cycle or a pattern repeating itself? Please hold on. Just drop it. Don't go to date any other person. Start working.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's repeated something. It's going not once, not twice, 3 times, 4 times. In fact, you don't need to wait for the fourth time. Sef.
Exactly.
Once
Some people
that,
are always in a
once
relationship.
that
Like you,
happens,
I've
like
never met you not in a relationship. You jump, yeah, I know. Yeah, some people are constantly in relationships. At what point do you find like you have a relationship with yourself? Because
exactly.
even in marriage, people say it's for people who are married. Because even in marriage, there's a level of singleness that you need to achieve in marriage.
Yeah.
so that you don't become emotionally dependent on your partner, so that you are
Exactly.
able to self-regulate without your partner. So you need
Exactly.
to have that relationship with yourself, because anything can happen at any time. You can't manage how people will feel at any time. So
Mhm.
that relationship starts with, in that moment when you're single, the cycles you have built around yourself, the routines that you have built around yourself. And people make a lot of mistakes. When you're in a relationship, your partner's friends become your partner, your partner routines becomes your partner. When you guys now break up, at the end of the day, you don't have friends, you are friendless, you're starting all over again. But when you are in a relationship with yourself and you build routines around yourself, by the time you're not in a relationship, your life is not completely intertwined with that person. You are able to just say, okay, this is Jane, this is, maybe your new boyfriend's name will be Femi, this is
Oh,
this
what?
is
Oh,
Femi.
what?
We don't want Femi. No shade to any Femi. All right. So this has been a very interesting session. Jane, thank you for all the nuggets you've been spilling. Guys, follow the page, the book page, How to Be Single. Buy the book. The link is in my bio. I want to say thank you to everyone. All my girlies are here. I don't want to mention them because there are plenty, and I know Jane's people are here because I've been seeing people hailing her in the comment section. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jane.
Yo.
So just leave like some words of advice and encouragement, for people like us who want to be self-loving like you, who want to be traveling around the world.
Ah, one thing I would say is don't be too hard on yourself. Practice compassion, self-compassion. Practice forgiveness. That's don't beat yourself too much at all. If you make mistakes, don't if you make mistakes, you can always correct them. You can always go back. Just forgive yourself. That's all. And then focus on self-care too. I'm very as well.
His skin has to be
Please focus
popping.
on
Has to be popping. And guys can do
I
self-care too. For the guys here, guys can do self-care too. So that will be stealing your self-care. You
okay
know?
as well. So this is for the guys too. Oh, please look like change your entire wardrobe. I did actually.
Yeah.
I wanted class
Mm-hmm.
style and I went so
Mm-hmm.
felt good. I mean, go to the barbers, make your hair if you make your hair, cut your hair if you cut your hair. Like look nice. Turn up to events, enjoy, have fun, go out on dates as well. Not maybe to date anybody.
Today, just yeah.
Go out on dates, have fun, enjoy, get to know somebody, things like that. Just focus on you. And then focus on your career as well, because that's where money is coming from.
Yeah.
Do puzzles, do whatever businesses. I think it was one for my heartbreak that I even used to build my business.
Yeah, I what I actually admire about your career is how you transition from customer experience to product management, and you're doing quite well. That's actually very remarkable, because not everybody are able to just make that switch.
Exactly.
And you've been consistent and you're doing very well. So I love that, and I love how you push your business as well. And another thing that stuck with me, changing your wardrobe is very important, guys. Like, you have to look, if you're looking for a certain kind of attention, you have to look the part. You have to dress the part. It's very
I
important.
agree.
Very important.
Agree.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jane. It's 8 o'clock and I like to keep to time. Thank you so much for this amazing session.
Well,
Thank you to everyone that joined. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. We're going to be doing this every month. So just keep your fingers crossed. We're going to have more exciting things by next month. Thank you, Jane. Thank you
thank
so much.
you. Thank you so much, Karen. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.